Do help the channel by thumbs up, subscribing, and commenting. Check the description for more. Cellular conversion. What does a cell want? Protein. For what? To be energized. How does a cell achieve this? Absorption. Converting protein as sugars results as what? Chemical energy. So a cell is a factory process that refines protein into energy. Yes. Why do we eat? It seems counterproductive, inefficient and imperfect, doesn't it? Yes. Question. Why? Proving the zealous Quakers of scientism is robotic in nature. Chemical systems are the combustion of chemical reactions of bonded molecules, the subatomic emission in transmission. Such terminus of reactive volatility is commonly referred to as weak and strong force in conventional physics. In order to understand what cellular energy is, we must first explore this processes of emission. And so, the science of physics and the chemistry of atomism is what we need to understand in order to establish firm footing of cellular biology studies of chemical content. Chemical reaction is a transformative process, and this process is commonly referred to as storage media conversion, that is, the substance of weakly bonded atoms or molecules. That through the rebonding of debonded nuclei, the interactive process incurring a chemical energy output, it is this output that is called chemical potential. And the product of such process is the end result. It is this topical endeavor to prove the zealous nature of chemical combustion by synth-based products that have undergone synthetic, tempered, conversion. Proving the necrotizing process ultimately is a kneading of inorganic molecules, performed via molecular work, and afflicted through a ruthless scientism, as weapons of war. Food is similar to hydrocarbon and carbohydrate fuels, and when it is oxidized to carbon dioxide, CO2, and water, H2O. The energy released is comparable or analogous to the heat of combustion, though assessed differently than for a hydrocarbon fuel, i.e., food energy. It is the heat that is produced from hydrocarbon fuel combustion that is the result of the debonding of chemical compounds. The same principle applies with cellular energetic output. That this process is likened to hydrocarbon-based exothermic reaction. It is important you understand what entropy is, in scientific terms. The lack of order or predictability, gradual decline into disorder. Efficacy is the obtaining of desirable results. This term was widely used during the COVID pandemic. Now, entropy does facilitate that cognitive decline is wholly neurogenically based as a psychogenic processes of eugenics-based elimination and systematic extinction. Such of what I posit is a zealous and brazen caltrops. What we are aiming to prove is the interweaved intention by the productions of synthetic life, sentient world environmental exophage, passed off as synthetic life, ultimately as a mass lobotomy. Where really it is more related to medical cannibalism and chemical transformation at the cellular scale. The storage system of chemical energy is produced with the release of the weak bonds of atomic nuclei of bonded compounds, and rebonding is the end product. The end product derived from food energy is cellular energization of useful function from an organic sense. A synth-based algorithmic computation is then foreseeable, ultimately as a transmutation via cybertronic systems of chemical alchemic transfusion, a systemic hijack. This calls into question science in general as a stature-based retooling ultimately as a synthetic mutation, a abysmal dead-end devolution, and a scientific zealotry alien. Exophilic and hostile to organic processes. Chemical energy is what an animal derives from food to powering its metabolism. The same principle applies in robotism. There is what is referred to more recently as quantum fuels, and this is connected to the interim of quantum supremacy, full-spectrum dominance, and silent weapons for quiet warfare. Consider the isotopic example of end productions and potentials. Isotopes are distinct nuclear species or nuclides of the same chemical element. Obviously, the chemical transmission of nuclear fission is one that employs debonding and rebonding. It is this that I have highlighted in the audio book and more in depth in the e-book. That lends credence to the ultimate factors of a cold fusion, equal irradiations at room temperatures, that is the atmospheric consistency of a global transformation processing. Atomic signatures is key to the stress testing aggregate, and it is the interval modulation implemented at the subatomic scale via nanoosmosis. This is why desalination of brackish concentrate has been a chemical saturation, such relates to the byproductions of forever chemicals. See chloroform, phosphorus and electrochemicals for more in-depth self-study assessment. Consider exotic formation of cellular cannibalism derived as a harnessed leech upon and via specimens within single-cell-based embodiment, partitions of plumes. A saturant of reactants of statics obtained as mana absorption distillery. Powering a macro-based blob warfare that leeches and saps upon many host nodes as a multiplex divergence. Simulacrum is what I speak of here. Think of microdots, synthetic atomism and senescence. Now think of the silicon electrophoresis, carriers of a recombinated xenomorphism, dehumanized habitus. De imbu.